Hello and welcome back to the ramblings of a very, totally 100% sane man. I want to talk about something today that 100% absolutely every single person goes through, but not everyone is going to 100% fully understand. And it's something that I went through literally within these past few days. And that is when we get, really good, healthy sources of dopamine and we're feeling really happy, and then out of nowhere, we just suddenly crash. We get sad, lethargic, unmotivated, unenergetic, and it's a complete contrast to how we were either hours or the day before. And it just seems out of nowhere. And it can really take us by surprise and really ruin any kind of mindset that we have or any kind of progress that we're making if we don't understand it and if we don't appreciate the process. So what got myself thinking about this topic was, so I've been really putting off making these videos again. I do enjoy it. I do kind of enjoy talking, but for me it's a huge anxiety. And I've had a couple goes in the past, but I eventually just the other evening got the courage for it, and I thought, you know what, fuck it, let's do it. And I bashed the video out. It wasn't perfect. It was nowhere near perfect. It's a complete train wreck, but the fact is that I did it and I posted it. And that was a great little mini achievement for me. The photo that I used for the thumbnail, I actually thought turned out quite nice, and I wanted to post it on my Instagram story, which is a little bit too vain for me. I'll post on my main page of myself, but again, those photos are more situational, or they've got like a reason to post, like, hey, look at this really cool attraction, or look at these friends I'm hanging out with, rather than, me sitting in a chair with a very ambient background, with me very clearly and directly posing. And I didn't want to post that because X, Y, and Z anxieties and yada, yada, yada. But I didn't look at it for an entire day until the following evening, when I eventually was like, okay, let's have a look at how it's done. And I went on, I had about 50 or so plus likes, and I was scrolling through looking, at who else had seen it. And, people who may have induced anxiety in me in the past had seen it. But what I really noticed going through was I had like no anxiety, no regret, no apprehension. I just felt curious and happy and good that I did the thing that I was holding myself back for no real reason, apart from fears that I had in the past and the self-defense mechanism that developed due to these fears that was useful to me as a kid, but no longer as an adult. And that was a really good first step of me, facing that fear and saying, hey, thanks for the job you did in the past, but you no longer are necessary. So we thank you for your service. Now fuck off. And, I had felt really good about myself for those couple of days until seemingly out of nowhere, Thursday evening, I just crashed. I just absolutely crashed. I just had my dinner and I just felt so down. Just really out of the nowhere. I thought, again, nothing bad's happened today. Today's been a good day. Why am I feeling so low? And then carrying over until Friday morning, again, I had that same lethargic sadness about me. And luckily in the morning, I kind of caught on quite quickly what was happening because, I've done research in the past and I have kind of looked into it and come across this mentioned before. And one of the first places I did come across this was this book, Happy. I don't know if it's mirrored in the video. I'm not used to showing stuff like this, but it's a book called Happy by Darren Brown. This is no way like a link or anything. I'm way too fresh for any of that kind of shit. But it's a really good book if you are looking into kind of understanding happiness a little bit more. So Happy by Darren Brown, great book. But it's where I first encountered this sort of concept. And it's where we will have our baseline of happiness, right? And we're going to have an up, we're going to have our surge of dopamine due to whatever stimulus, and we're going to be sailing, and then out of nowhere, we're going to come back down. And sometimes we might just go back onto our plateau, or sometimes we're going to dip just a little bit, sometimes we might dip a little bit more. And anyone who's taken MDMA, not that I can relate to this. But anyone that's taken MDMA, Mandy, ecstasy, will know exactly this feeling where you drop on the night, you are sailing. I mean, like really sailing. You genuinely feel just the most intense and pure happiness and love for everyone around you. Like, it doesn't matter who they are, you absolutely love them. And then comes the morning where if you haven't taken for a while or you dropped quite heavy that night and you haven't got much of a tolerance to it, although you shouldn't be dropping regularly. But in that morning, God, you feel down. You really can feel really down because what's happened in the brain is you've had your baseline happiness, you've taken a stimulant that's gone way over your natural kind of levels, and you're sailing up here now. And what happens is the brain loves equilibrium. It loves equilibrium. So as you start to come down, your brain is going to be, removing the chemical dopamine. It's going to be going out through its clearing process. And because you've taken such a large amount, in this case with MDMA, it's going to take you below your natural threshold, and it's going to take you even further, which is why people with MDMA who have taken MDMA will feel naturally way, way, way more down in the morning than like a natural kind of curve. And it's the exact same for people who have not taken MDMA. We don't have, although they don't go to such peak highs and peak lows, but you will still have your baseline. You're going to go up. And then because your brain loves equilibrium, it's going to start going through its clearing process and it's going to take you back down to your baseline. And when we're coming back down to that baseline, it's not always necessarily sadness that we're feeling, but instead because our brain is removing the dopamine and it's taking us back to inertia, it creates a contrast of, hey, we're feeling really good right now. Oh, but I'm not feeling that great anymore. And we can attest that, we can give it that label of sadness because we are feeling a contrast to how we just felt. And because now we're giving it a label, we're giving it meaning, we're giving it the name and title sadness, we therefore now feel sad. Where we felt energetic and motivated, we no longer are feeling that same level. It's a contrast. And because obviously we want to feel good, we want to feel motivated, we want to feel engaged, when that gets taken away from us by a very, very, very natural process, it makes us feel sad. It makes us feel let down, turned off. And whilst this is a very natural process, the danger comes in where people don't understand that this is just a natural process that every single person goes through. And so when they're on their peak or when they're feeling good and up, and they will naturally start to come down because they're now feeling that contrast, because they're now comparing the present moment to that peak that they just had. They want to reattain it. They want to go back to it. They want to chase the high. You almost got me. Catch me. And I've been guilty of this in the past before, where I've been driving, I'm going to an event and I'm really excited about going to this event or seeing some certain people and I'm feeling really good, I'm feeling really happy, but because I've been so excited leading up to the moment when I get in my car to go to that place, I have experienced a very sudden drop in happiness and pleasure, and I'm thinking, oh my God, am I not going to be happy when I meet these people? Am I not going to be pleasant and energetic to be around in the moment? So then what I've done is I've tried to find really energetic music to like sing along to.
Making my way downtown, walking fast.
And kind of get me in the mood in the car. And by trying to force this happiness back, trying to chase that previous peak, it just makes me feel sadder because I am not naturally feeling it. I am naturally declining and I'm trying to force that emotion back. But because I'm not reaching that desired outcome, I'm creating an even bigger contrast and therefore I feel so much worse. And when I was going through my mental breakdown and kind of the sort of year after it, because I'd been very mentally, emotionally unstable, I would kind of pendulum swing very heavy back and forth. I would have quite strong highs And then out of nowhere, I would have very strong lows. And it would, when you're having that low, if you are someone struggling with mental health or trying to do self-improvement and you maybe not making the progress you want to make, when you get that sudden low, if you're not prepared for it and you don't understand it, it can really mess with your self-esteem and your self-impression of yourself. You think, oh, I clearly can't do this. Why am I even bothering? I'm not someone who's ever going to be able to make the progress that I want to make. I'm a loser. I'm a fuckwit. I'm
disconnected to the point of autism.
All the things that I believe people think negatively of me. And then you get yourself into even more of a state. So where I was quite fortunate yesterday morning, as I was still feeling that natural, contrast, where I caught it in the morning as I was getting ready to go to work. I spotted it and I understood it for what it was. And because I understood it for a natural sadness, I had so much pressure taken off. I didn't feel like I had done anything wrong. I didn't feel like I had to do anything extra to get me elevated again. I understood it as a natural process, and I understood that, yes, I might be feeling a little bit low now, but that's because I was feeling really happy, really elevated due to, making my video and posting that picture I wanted to post. And then I naturally gone back down. But because my brain loves equilibrium, while I'm feeling down, it's going to take me back up to feeling my baseline. And then I'm going to have my another peak, and I'm going to come back down, and the process is just going to repeat over and over again, because that is a natural process of the human biology. So what do I suggest for you guys to do if you do notice this happening to yourself? How can you overcome these contrasting feelings? So the first thing that I would say to do is to normalize it. Like how I did yesterday morning when I kind of was getting ready for work and I clocked what it was, I understood it to be normal. I understood that this was a natural part of human biology. So I just knew that while I was feeling naturally down, I knew I was naturally going to come up. And so because I normalized it, I accepted it, it naturally occurred. I naturally just came back up to a good level as I progressed through my day. The second thing I suggest is to don't chase that high. Don't chase that peak that you are currently experiencing, because if you chase it, the time between your dip and getting back to your plateau or getting back up above that baseline, it's only going to be longer. It's only going to be so much longer because you're creating that much bigger of a contrast. So by chasing the high, by